Welcome to a nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live.
Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. It's 39 degrees, and it looks like we might have some snow coming in the next couple days. But we'll leave that up to Leslie Lowe and the others down at KHQ to let you know how that's going. We have a fun program today and an interesting program today. First of all, I learned of a new project here in town. It's called the Jonah Project. And when I read what was going on, it immediately told me that I needed to invite them on. So that's going to be our first set of guests, and we're all going to learn something, I think, very important about our community. The next will be the Spokane Association of Realtors, getting an update on what's going on. It's a crazy market, a great market. And then Jane Baker from the Spokane County Library System is going to be here. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, but especially some of the great holiday programs that they have for our kids and grandkids. And then we'll have McNiece-Wheeler here to talk about all things law, and Don Morgan from Morgan's Minute. We'll be back right after this.
For the Inland Northwest most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest.
Randy James.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here. Hope you're having a great day. It's the day before Turkey Day, which means it's the day before my producer in here, Steven's Day, because it will be Turkey Day. Going to head to about 44, 45 today, 39 outside right now. And it kind of, I think we're going to get a little bit of snow, which is actually good because I'm told that people will go out and shop more early on if they think we're going to have a really crazy winter, and that's what they've been saying, is that we're going to have front-loaded winter this year. Hey, a couple of guests here today, and this is an important project, but let me first introduce the guests, and I've got to look at my notes, okay? Aaron Tilbury, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. And Chuck Copenpire.
You're close. Copenpire.
Copenpire, okay. Well, you don't look like Chuck either, okay?
Sorry.
Okay. I got to ask, where did the name come from? Who did?
I chose it for myself.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, when I moved to Portland and came out as a non-binary person.
Okay. Well, good for you. All right. Well, let's talk about the Jonah Project, because I'm really concerned. I saw the Facebook posting from a friend of mine, was it last week, I guess, sometime? And the number of young people, especially, that are being brought up into this trafficking and so forth. And I think we all kind of knew about that there's something going on, but it's like you said earlier, the homelessness, we don't have a problem. Well, we do, okay? Yeah. And we have this problem. So first, would you outline maybe what the issue is? Let's define what that is, either one of you.
Yeah, I'll start. The issue really, I think, what we call an issue and how we talk about an issue, right, is important. And so I'm going to use the term slavery. And that's really one of the places we need to start. And you mentioned earlier kind of awareness being an issue. One of the reasons it is an issue is that we have a lot of different terminology with this issue.
Okay.
The reality is we're not talking about prostitution, right? We're not talking about children that are choosing this way of life. We're talking about a bunch of factors that contribute to young people and older people as well, really being taken into this trafficking, this slavery, not seeing the fruits of their labors, so to speak, and not being allowed to leave. So in any culture, in any language, that's always been called slavery. So that's one of the things that I think that we can do to probably bring some more awareness and to talk about this issue appropriately, is to just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. How big is it? How big is the issue here in Spokane and the inland Northwest?
Yeah. So, and jump in here, Chuck, as well. But so we don't have really reliable statistics for Spokane yet.
Okay.
We're kind of playing a little bit of catch up in that. We have some national statistics that are really just becoming available to everybody. We've seen places like Seattle start to do studies.
Okay.
One of the big numbers that we're seeing a lot is this number 500 to 600. And that's typically
in our area,
and that's typically related to Spokane, but that's a number that really kind of came from the Seattle area.
Okay.
The big thing for us to understand, and I think we'd all agree that one is too many.
Yes.
But even if it was 200 or 300 in Spokane, it's a circuit. So literally, it is a slave trade. There is a circuit where these people are run from Seattle to Tri-Cities to Spokane to Coeur d'Alene. And so there may be 200 today in Spokane, but that means that there might be 500 tomorrow in Spokane, depending on, do we have an event here, or something.
Well, and if you count 200 today, some of them are going to be shipped out in other places, and so they're immediately replaced.
That's
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's an ongoing number, which means it continues to grow. Bottom line, it continues to grow.
Yeah.
Are there stories here in Spokane of I'm going to call them kids, but young people that you can share?
Aaron knows these people more intimately than I do, so I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, my first introduction to this was a young lady that I had met briefly, and she was actually being seen by a school counselor for another issue.
Okay.
And just asked to speak with me. We had established a little bit of trust, and that's really the big thing, right, is some relational trust. And we actually just had, in some ways, we were fortunate to have a young woman who's 19 years old come to a Human Rights Commission, the Spokane Human Rights Commission meeting once a month, and at the last meeting shared for about 7 minutes straight her personal testimony. It is harrowing, horrific, terrible, and nothing we would necessarily ever encourage, because we don't want to re-victimize people. And so that sharing of the testimony is really a touchy thing.
I was going to say, yeah.
If it can be cathartic for them, or they're at a place where they feel like, hey, I really want to...
But it could be very, very, very difficult to
Absolutely.
do. But honestly, we need to hear a couple of those stories
Sure.
and bless them that they can stand up and do that.
It's a very brave thing to share something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
agreed, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about the Jonah Project. What is it you're doing? What do you hope to accomplish, other than reduce all or eliminate this? But that's the obvious answer. But how do you get there?
Yeah.
I think our two main focal points are shelter and advocacy.
Okay.
If a person doesn't have a safe place to live, a place where they can feel comfortable going home, we do our best to place them there, or we've just opened our own house where we can house people in vulnerable positions that don't have somewhere else to go. And then we also see through on advocacy. So we make sure that this person is not left in a vulnerable position to get taken advantage of again.
Yes.
We make sure they get the services they need. We make sure they get the support they need. And we really try to build an actual relationship with them so that they can learn that not everyone in the world is out to take advantage of them. There are people who, with no agenda, will support and love them just because it matters.
Right. Who else do you involve to help you with this? Because this can't just be the
No.
two of you. And
I'm relatively new, too.
Yeah, actually, Chuck has been a blessing to us. She's come on board just recently, and you're exactly right. It truly is a group effort, and so there are a lot of resources that we as a group maybe don't provide. So one of the biggest keys with advocacy is aside from the fact that we've got to be willing to see this through with this person who's healing over a long period of time, is connecting with all the resources that do things better than we do. So if they have a mental health counselor, if they, those types of things. And so really, if we go out and we do an extraction or a rescue, or we pick up somebody, a victim or a survivor, after emergency medical care, and we get a handle on their position, the very next thing that we're doing is exactly what you're talking about, is trying to get them plugged into all of those community resources that do those things and do them well and specialize in them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would guess the shelter that you put them at, you don't advertise where it is.
Correct.
No.
Because you don't want others to prey on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Okay, so I was right on. At least I can guess a few things. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so how many will be sheltered in your shelter at a given time? Usually, is it a couple?
Yeah. Well, this is a home. So one of the things that, just to not to certainly debate it or anything, but we've seen the facility and kind of shelter models and some of the areas where they lack for this type of trauma and healing. And so what we're trying to really create is really a home environment. So we're talking about probably 5 to 6. It'll be minimal. But the upside to that is it's scalable. And so we can actually set these things up maybe on a larger level to provide in the areas that we need.
Duplicate it in other.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And really, we're trying to build a hub of connection in what we've started to call just our underground railroad, and connecting with the other resources in the nation that do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and the fact is, honestly, I would guess that if you had too many in one home, you reach a point where they don't get some of the individual attention and caring that they need, because then they're, again, another number, another name out there. And that's what they've been for some time, or treated as.
Yeah.
They're not that, we know that, but I mean, that's how they've been treated and so forth. How many of these young people are what I would call street kids on the street? Are you finding a lot there, or where are you finding them?
Yeah, so I would say probably the majority of young people that we work with are referrals.
Okay.
And that's
from where?
From either a school counselor or someone who knows that they're a friend. For example, I mentioned the young lady earlier that shared her testimony.
Yeah.
I had never met her. She was she's an amazing young lady, and I'm fortunate that I did meet her. But it was another young lady who we helped with the cell phone. We probably helped this other young lady maybe for 2 weeks, and then she kind of got squared away and was reintegrated into life.
That's not the end of it.
Yeah, and
we can't just
Yeah, and so she passes one of our cards on to a friend that she knows is actually involved in some stuff that's
and she
dangerous.
realized that she had been helped.
Absolutely.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Okay. We're starting to run out of time. What last thing or two should we talk about? And the question I have is then, how can people reach you? And we'll do that as we get to the end. But what else did I not ask that is important for our viewers to know?
I think at some point it would be great to talk about our needs and what we would love people to reach out to us.
And what are some of those needs?
Other
than money.
Right.
We all know that.
Yes.
Every organization needs hard cash.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So fundraising, we're going to have some fundraisers.
And we're at the right time of year right now for people to help adopt an organization and so forth to step out. So.
Well, and let me just speak to the finance part, Chuck, before you finish up. Is one of the things that I want to let people know is we don't have a paid staff, for example.
Okay.
So if someone donates to the Jonah Project,
I thought you were making $300,000
right?
a year.
Yeah. So I mean, and the reason I say that is not that people that don't do this type of work don't deserve to make a living,
Right.
but the way our structure is that whatever resource we're helped with goes directly to either paying a mortgage on a home that's going to house kids or food in their bellies. And so,
I hear you.
And so, yeah, absolutely. Funding is always important.
Right.
But
how else?
Wanted to mention that.
Well, we also have advocacy training now twice a month, coming up December 14th.
So people can volunteer to help.
Yeah, so you can come and get trained on how to properly advocate and potentially mentor a student.
Okay.
So Aaron holds those trainings twice a month.
Okay.
So that's a great thing. And then just supplies for the house, food. I go around collecting food donations. We just delivered Thanksgiving dinners last night, which was fantastic.
Fun. That's nice.
Yeah, so anything that we can take, and then clothes, school supplies, anything that we can then distribute to students. Because we go and visit the high schools and we know kids on an individual level and are very happy to distribute anything that people can donate.
Right. And where do you get some of those things now? I mean,
just from word of mouth. People contact me on.
So you're still in that stage, really, where you need to get the voice out.
Yeah, we're very small.
You know, I guess the last thing I would want to say is fear is a big thing with this, and there's fear in terms of the way that we see our community.
Right.
There's certainly fear for these victims in terms of coming out and asking for help.
Right.
Because if we don't have a place to take them, they have to go right back to the people that hurt them in the first place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff packed into this. I've heard people say, hey, you know, can we have them in our church? Do we need to worry about, you know, these violent guys coming in the middle of our... And the reality is, I think one of the biggest things we can do is continue to talk about it and effort to relate to people that are human beings that are just really traumatized.
Yeah.
And they just need us to love them.
Okay.
Yeah, over the long haul. And so I guess that's really, I think, a big area where people could just let their hearts wrap around that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Unconditional love is very powerful.
Yeah. How can people get in touch with you? Because this is important.
So if you get on Facebook, go to search The Jonah Project.
Okay.
Send me a message.
Okay.
And I will plug you in with anything.
All right.
My job is to receive those information from you and get you where you need to go.
All
and then
right.
Aaron also has a hope line where if
Okay.
you have someone who needs help, they can
okay.
call this number.
Okay.
And Aaron will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
24/7.
what's the number?
we have it. So that is it's a 509.
Right.
And it is 655
Okay.
7886.
Okay.
And it's 24 hours a day. Wherever
okay.
they are, whatever is going on, I will contact members of our team and we will come and get them to safe
Okay.
place.
I'm going to guess you can find that on the Facebook page
That'll be
as
posted
well.
on the Facebook,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Because almost everybody, including old seniors these days, I watched part of a program the other night where they had some teens teaching seniors in their 80s and 90s how to get on Facebook and
Oh, yeah.
everything, which I thought was a great experience for both.
I need some help with that.
Yeah, well, around here I look for people under 30. Okay, and that's just how we do it. This is important. I would urge our viewers to step up and help this project because this is important. Thank you for being here,
Thank you.
both
Thank
of
you
you.
very much.
Happy Thanksgiving, and
You
thank you
too.
for what you do. 'Cause
Thank
it's
you so
important to
much.
the community.
Really appreciate
we're
it.
going to take a quick break. We'll be back.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks live. It's 39, almost 40 degrees, and it's not going to get much warmer today, which means it's a great day to look for a new house.
It is. It's
It
always
is.
a great day to
And-
look for a new house.
And I'm gonna look at this. Be sure I say I know Jennifer, but it's Valerien.
Valerien, perfect.
All right, there's
yes,
hope.
Excellent.
I passed. I get turkey tomorrow.
Yes, you do.
How are you?
I am doing very well.
You have an important job in 2017.
I
What
do.
is that?
will be the new president of the Spokane Association of Realtors.
Does that mean you get the whip out for Rob?
whip.
Rob Higgins?
I know
and-
I get a gavel. I
Okay.
mean, that might work. I'm not sure
Well,
about the
knock
whip
him-
yet.
Knock him on the head a few times.
Exactly,
He's a good guy. I've known him for years, and And what a person to lead the organization, but also such a valuable community member.
Very much so.
I mean, he just knows
definitely.
everybody.
The information in that head is just amazing.
I know.
Yes.
Unlike our friend Tom MacArthur, which, there's a lot missing up there.
Different information.
Different
How about that? I love you, Tom.
Yeah, we do. We have to give him a bad time. Jennifer, last time you were here, we talked about it, but things keep changing, and I don't know where we are on selling and buying today. Has the market just been flooded with all kinds of new homes to sell?
Oh, I would love that. I would love if it were
I have the
flooded
feeling
with
you're
new
saying
homes
no.
to sell. No, it's not. It's been a great year.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And, we had talked about some of the challenges with not having a lot of inventory.
Right.
And that's still out there.
And that continues.
It continues.
Has it gotten any better or any worse? Or is so little difference that it doesn't matter?
I wouldn't say better or worse. I think we are understanding the market now because it hasn't been like this for a while.
Right.
So more of a stabilization, perhaps.
Okay.
Although still the challenges with not a lot of inventory and still a lot of buyers.
Yeah.
Which, it's a good challenge, but it's just very different. So, and sometimes, going into the holiday season,
yes,
people think, oh, well, I can't sell my house now. I would tell you to reconsider that if you're really wanting to sell.
Right.
Because it is a great time. Those buyers that are out there are serious buyers.
Yes.
They're not going to start trudging through the snow just to, let's go have some fun and see a
looky-loo,
house.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of the houses look great when they're decorated for the season.
Yes, and they smell pretty, and
Exactly.
the fireplace is going, and I mean, you couldn't stage it better, really.
I know, really. And it's amazing. We'll show a house. It could be 100 degrees outside in the summer, and they're always looking for, okay, where am I going to put the tree? What's going to happen?
Yeah, and that's really true, too. And so now you have people coming in, husband, wife, or individual or family, and they can now get a feeling of what it would be like for their Thanksgiving, for their Christmas,
Yes.
and so forth. Because if they're going to buy a house, that's what they're going to do.
Yes.
And that's where they're going to be for a few years.
Definitely, and they can just feel it.
Yeah.
They can feel the home
Right.
there rather than just being a house.
Right.
So I would, if you're considering, I would really talk to your broker.
What is some of the reason? I know years ago, it was people tended to move every 7 years. That was that's not happening anymore, is it?
That has extended out. It's
Okay.
been 7 years for quite a while. The latest statistics are it's now every 10 years.
Yeah. See, I thought it was more.
Yeah,
But
so that has spread out a little bit. Part of that was a function of the downturn in the market.
I was going to say the economy. I think affected
Right.
that.
So people had to stay in longer
Yeah.
because they were not able to necessarily sell their house and
Okay.
get their money without bringing money to the table.
Right.
And so that's, I think, where it is extended.
So, what about mortgages today? What's happening in the mortgage market? Where are we in terms of percentages? A 30-year loan is roughly what?
Okay.
Because
right.
people will see this other than today, and I know you probably
Exactly.
know what it is today, but we don't know what it's going to be like on Friday or Monday.
No,
do we?
you don't. And that's why I am not a lender. And whenever somebody asks me that, I would love to tell you it's going to be, market specific, lender specific, day to day specific.
Yeah.
The only thing we really watch, because we are not mortgage experts, is what are the predictions? What's coming down? Because then our buyers get a little anxious, a little nervous. There's talks about raising in December, and there's talks about this and talks about that.
Yeah, and 0.25% more can add a couple $100 bucks.
Right, it can
sometimes.
reduce your purchase power,
Right.
By up to
That's true.
possibly $10,000, and that can change. When the average sales price is going up, you want to watch that and just be aware
Right.
of it. And so it's great to have that team around you. Use your realtor, use their lenders that they work with. We get information all the time. I had a Wells Fargo lender just text me and say, by the way, we just introduced this new program. It's good this week.
Yeah.
So you just never know what's out there. That's why I'm cautious to kind
Yeah.
of say what's available.
Well, and a lot of people are looking at the 30-year, but some of them are looking at the 15-year too.
Correct.
Are you seeing that with some of your folks that you sell to?
I am, and part of it is the security, and they're kind of excited about being able to pay it off so quickly. And
Because
the
it does
rates are great.
does really reduce their overall cost of the house.
Exactly.
doesn't it?
And then you'll have some that want the security of that 30-year payment,
Yeah.
but their plan is to pay it off like a 15.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which
Great.
is kind of exciting. We love celebrating when a house gets paid off. I think it's really cool. So,
Do you ever get invited to burn the mortgage with any clients?
We don't actually. I haven't been to a burn the mortgage, but I've been to a little celebration afterwards. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Where they might put stuff that would put out the fire.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Allegedly. Yeah.
Sure, yes.
I get people who say, well, allegedly can't. And I'm going, yeah, right.
They've just tipped their hand at that point.
Well, tell me what's happening. Anything happening with the Spokane Association of Realtors this fall as we turn into early 2017? Anything?
We are gearing up for a great year.
Okay.
We have been having kind of our end of the year wrap ups.
Okay.
Getting ready, forming committees. What direction are we going to head? How are we going to be able to help Spokane?
Right.
What can we offer?
Right.
It's been nice. This past year we did the Our Downtown.
Yes.
And so
yes.
supporting downtown, and we're always looking for those opportunities.
And they are downtown for folks who didn't catch on what it is. What is it?
Correct. Well, R for Realtor, the Realtor R.
Okay.
We had heard, the news, the information about the roads are closed. We're struggling with our
You
businesses
only have
downtown.
to walk about 100 feet that way.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so we put together an initiative, part and thanks to Tom MacArthur helping
Right,
us with
right.
that. And so we changed the Realtor R from our downtown into our downtown. And we took the initiative and went downtown and frequented the businesses and then
Right.
challenged the home builders to do so.
Right.
And then they challenged the next group and challenged the next group just to support
And we got the
businesses.
city and county, I think, involved
We did.
in all of
it
that.
was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're looking for initiatives like that.
Well, and I made a point in the last month or so that you've been doing that to have lunch or my lunch meetings within a block or two of here because we're right in the middle. I mean,
Right.
what is it, Monroe out here
Exactly.
and so forth. And it is a mess, but honestly, it's going to be so nice when it's done.
It's
and I don't
gonna
know
be beautiful.
I don't know if you've walked past some of the ditches they had out there, but I'll swear some of the pipes that you see, the only thing holding in the water was the dirt around the pipes.
Yes,
Okay.
I have seen those,
Yeah.
yes.
And so I'm glad that, we need to do that every so often because otherwise it's going to be digging up problems and you can continue to do that every couple blocks.
Right.
So it's going to be great. And, we have such a vibrant downtown in Spokane now with that going on, with Riverfront Park being done, the U District, and all of that really helps create and helps the Spokane Association of,
Right.
of Realtors and
We
your
have
folks.
specifically had clients, especially from out of town, come and choose Spokane over another location.
Really?
Because they got excited about the Riverfront Park project.
Yes,
They
yes.
saw that. They got excited about the University District. And so they're trying to decide between two locations.
Yeah.
And they're choosing Spokane because of those. It was amazing. We had our state conference here downtown just this fall, and the comments from the brokers around the state were like, we don't remember the downtown being this great.
Yeah.
Spokane is fantastic.
Yes.
This is wonderful.
We're kind of a hidden gem in so many ways.
Truly.
But it's good to see our Convention and Visitors Bureau, the convention site
Yes.
improved in terms of extended. Of course, the Grand across the street
Right.
doesn't hurt things at
No,
all.
it's just wonderful. And
Yeah.
so we as realtors really like having that. It's a great selling feature for us, and it's really easy to sell Spokane.
Now, if people want to learn more about the Spokane Association of Realtors, which I understand is really for your members, but there's other information on there as well.
Right,
isn't
there is other information. They can go to SpokaneRealtor.com,
Okay.
which is great. They can contact the association. Feel free
Okay.
to look up their
they'd-
broker.
But they'd have to talk to Rob, probably.
Not
No,
necessarily.
I'm
They'll probably get Angie, and she's amazing.
Yes, yes.
She's great.
Isn't she?
Yes.
She
Well,
is.
we're always there to help. And
Yeah.
just please contact us. Let us know what you need. Watch for our Spokane Open if you're looking for those open
Right,
houses.
right.
Because people are still out there selling.
Yeah,
So.
that's great.
yeah.
Well, good news.
Yes.
I want to thank you and the association because effective now, actually, the Spokane Association of Realtors is a sponsor of Real Estate Radio.
Yes, we
And-
are.
And that's our plan. And as we move forward to talk more about all the good things going on. And I've had the privilege of meeting so many realtors over the years. When I was at KHQ, we did an initiative there and so forth. And what a great group of people who really do care about their community.
Very, very true. And I am so looking forward to 2017 when I get to.
And it all falls on
represent
you,
them.
doesn't it?
Well, it falls on us.
Okay,
So,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, but we know who heads it up. Okay,
So.
you got to get the whip out to all your chair people and stuff.
They're amazing. They're
Yeah.
amazing. They make me look good.
All right,
So,
well, great. You'll come back after the first of the year?
Definitely.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
Jennifer.
thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
And we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about books and things and great stuff going on for the holiday season. We'll be back right after this.
Last year alone, Vista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
If you need a sign, banner, or business cards for your business, who do you call? Hi, this is Kent Adams.
And Tom MacArthur from Business Talks. Kent and I call Instant Sign Factory for our signs, banners, business cards, and more.
Dave at Instant Sign Factory is our go-to guy for printing, and he always does excellent work for us.
Check them out online. They've got an all-new website, instantsignfactory.com.
Tell them Kent and Tom from Business Talk sent you. Instant Sign Factory.
You hear us say it.
We are tracking news in Spokane County where
We're talking exclusive.
I want to be the survivor and someone that reaches out and helps other people.
These stories you'll only see here.
My family say because he is off the streets.
This interview.
What is it like being a teenager nowadays?
This investigation. This moment for the first.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams here, and a good friend of our program, Jane Baker from the Spokane County Library District. How are you today?
I am well, Kent. How are you?
It's like I saw someone that looks like you yesterday here.
Did you?
Yeah. And what I'm referring to is the fact that Jane comes in. You come in about, every other week and record a couple of programs of Library Out Loud, which is a fun program. I learned so much about our county library system, and I'm sure a lot of it's the same stuff that happens in the city here as well.
Sure.
But it's not my grandmother's old library anymore, is it?
It is not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I'm learning
things.
how far back I am on things. I mean, we have people under 30 that help take care of things around here. But it isn't just books anymore.
No.
It's so much more.
That's almost our mantra anymore, that we're much more than books.
Right.
Back in
no matter how you stack it, right? Oh, okay. All right.
Very punny.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Back in the day, and you and I both remember that day when libraries used to be quiet places where you were shushed.
Yes, I remember those.
Yes, and you didn't dare
I wasn't really good about that, okay?
You didn't dare get a book out of the Dewey Decimal Order. It's not like that anymore.
Oh, okay.
It is not like that at all. Of course, we still do have quiet areas where you can sit down and read and and that type of thing, but there's so much going on. A lot of learning is taking place, especially for kids with story times and those type of things. So learning is noisy sometimes. So every once in a while it gets a little loud at the library, and that's okay.
But then as you walk through and see that, learning's going on too,
Absolutely.
don't you? I mean, instead of if they're really quiet, are their eyes closed?
Yeah, none of that. We do it's lifelong learning, like I said. We have story times for ages from 0 to 6 months of age to lifelong learning for any age. So there's always somebody learning something at the library.
Are you finding folks like me as we get older? I'm 70, but what I would call seniors. I'm a senior. There's no way to get around it. That are coming back and wanting to learn something new, take on a hobby or whatever it might be, and they're back at school, meaning the library, and doing that. Are you seeing a lot of that at your library?
Yes, we do. We see a lot of that, and I know you joked here about the electronics being taken care of by people under 30.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of them, 70 and older,
yes.
who are coming into the library and saying, "Hey, I got this e-reader from my granddaughter.
Yep.
Let's work this. How do you work it?"
Exactly.
And we help them, and before you know it, they're masters.
Well, my wife, I think it was 15, 20 years ago, wasn't going to get on email or anything else until our son was in the Air Force and in Alaska, and how do you communicate with him?
Absolutely.
Okay? So she learned real quick.
Yep.
So sometimes we get, and with grandkids and so forth, I've got 2 of my 8 grandkids in California, and welcome to email, Facebook, and FaceTime, and all of that. And we do want to communicate with our kids and grandkids, and our neighbors and others. So it's fun. There was on PBS, I don't know if you saw it the other night, a program of high school kids coming in and teaching seniors at a senior home. And some of them, I thought it was kind of the expression on their face. You could kind of see it with the high school kids almost rolling their eyes. But for the most part, they were great about it. And what an opportunity to bring the two ends of the spectrum together. You know, the 15, 16-year-olds who are trying to explain where they do it automatically to seniors who are going, it does what?
Yeah.
You know, and so much. It was a great program. It was on KSPS TV.
Oh, I missed that, but I know that that's a trend of things happening.
Yes.
And in return, the teens are learning things from the older people.
Yes.
Finding out that they're not so stodgy after all.
Yeah. Well, and I remember I didn't get to see it all, but I remember one of the teens realizing that he had found a great grandfather or uncle picture of somebody. And it was like, oh, they were in World War I or something. I mean, you know, it kind of put together some of the learning and personalized some of the learning from school into, I know somebody whose grandparents were in World War I. So, yeah, it's great. So lots going on. We're moving into the holiday season. Two things I think of. One is opportunity for books to buy for kids. What a great present to give.
Yes.
And you did a whole half-hour program on that in our podcast, so I would encourage people to go and listen to that.
Yes.
But how about a quick and dirty review of a couple of books that might be worth looking at?
Of interest for the adults. Okay, I cannot speak highly enough about the local authors in the Spokane area.
Yes.
And something that we feature in all of our libraries is a local collection. We have a little section, and we have begun promoting some of these local works. And so I have to give credit and suggestions for gift ideas from our local authors, people like Sharma Shields. She's a fabulous author, and she has done the Sasquatch Hunter's Almanac. It is set here in the Inland Northwest.
Fun.
So not only is that a local author, the book is set here as well.
Yeah.
And I cannot speak highly enough about Sharma Shields. We also have Stephanie Oakes. She has a book called The Sacred Lies of Minnow Bly. Once you read that, you'll want to read more of her stuff. She has a new one coming out next year called The Arsonist. Of course, Cindy Haval.
Yes.
We know Cindy.
Because she hosts the program here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
She has War Bonds, and I know she's working on book number 2, and she's a fabulous
In fact,
author.
the name of her program here is Life, Love, and Raising 4 Sons. And that's the name of the book she's working on, too. So we kind of get a preview with the podcast.
Yes.
But it's fun, and gosh, how great it is to celebrate local authors. It really, I think, is important.
There is. We have a growing literary scene here.
Yes.
In fact, there's a book called Lilac City Fairy Tales. It's poetry and prose by Spokane writers, and it was edited by Sherry Boggs, who works for the library. So there's a lot of that local thing. One thing you may be surprised at, not everybody knows, Sean Vestal, who writes for The Spokesman, is an author as well.
He just did a book in the last 6 months,
Yes, he has a couple books out, Godforsaken Idaho and Daredevils, and his fiction is fabulous. Fabulous writer. Sean is awesome that way. Also, Bruce Holbert, a gentleman who teaches in the Meade School District at Mount Spokane. He's got a couple novels out, Lonesome Animals and Hour of Lead. Also, at least one of those is set here in the Inland Northwest. His writing is beautiful. And if you like poetry, we have Maya Jewel Zeller. She is a local poet who teaches at Gonzaga, and also Todd Marshall, the Washington State Poet Laureate. He's from Spokane.
All right.
He has books too. So you can go into the library, check out the local collection, or hit Auntie's bookstore, say, I'm looking for the local authors, and they'll be happy to help you get any of those gift ideas.
Gosh, that's great.
Yes.
That is great.
Yes.
Now, you have some programs as we head into vacation times and things like that. Talk about that.
Well, we have some light programs
look, she's
for
looking
the
it up
holiday.
on her phone.
I got to make sure I get the details
So you
right.
are under 30.
Oh, love you. We have some family events going on. One of them is a traditional gingerbread house building. And that's something a lot of families do. Some do, some don't. It can be messy. And so we're doing it at the library and inviting families to come in and do it. So you don't have to worry about a mess.
Yes.
And
getting supplies and everything else that kind of goes with that, right?
The library is doing that, and we're doing it at all 10 of our libraries in December.
Okay.
And to check out which date for the library closest to you, go to our
Okay.
website, scld.org.
Okay.
And that'll tell you all.
Yeah, because
Also-
everything's online these days, isn't it?
Everything's online. That's right. We also have a Frozen sing-along, the movie Frozen.
Oh, Lord.
Very popular with
Okay.
the younger girls.
Yes.
And I myself, who I have sons, so I still know some of the Frozen songs. That's how popular they are.
Yes.
So we're doing a Frozen sing-along. Several of our libraries, very popular program, and you're allowed to bring a pillow and blanket to that one.
Oh,
so
okay.
that might be
And the
more for
granddaughters
me and you.
can too?
Yes. And then we have at Spokane Valley on December 17th an ugly sweater decorating program.
And we've all seen some of
Yes.
these ugly sweaters.
So,
haven't we?
so that's just to come, have fun, and celebrate goofiness for the holidays there.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's just fun, and that's
Yeah.
what we need to be doing is having some fun and like the gingerbread house and so forth and cookies. We get so wrapped up. We're all working. We're all trying to do the shopping and everything else, and to be able to go somewhere with others and to have the supplies there and so forth makes life a little easier, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it does.
that's great.
Great.
Well, thank you.
Sure. Do I have time for one more thing?
One more thing.
One more thing. If you're looking for a great gift,
Okay.
under $10, you can't beat it. It's absolutely free. If you're a parent, come get a library card for your child.
What a great gift for Christmas.
Yes,
Yes.
it opens up their mind to all kinds of things
Yeah.
and a love of reading. And also, if you get an e-reader for Christmas and you can't quite figure it out, we have book a librarian appointments, one-on-one.
Ah, nice.
They will set you up, show you how to download straight from the library so you can read to your heart's content.
Wow.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Jane. Good
Absolutely.
to see you.
It's always good to see you.
Twice in 1 week,
Ah, there you go.
And great. Thank you very much. What I've learned in listening to recording your programs is there's just so much to be offered at our libraries these days, and it isn't our grandfather's or great-grandfather's library anymore. So I urge you to check it out and get a library card, either for yourself, and then if you have kids or grandkids, might be appropriate for them for this holiday period too. Thank you, Jane Baker from
Happy
Spokane.
Thanksgiving.
Same to you. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Barbara Mueller.
And I'm Marty Mueller. We have gotten some amazing opportunities to design and build
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and my guest is Ryan McNiece with that McNiece-Wheeler firm.
That's right.
You would be one of the owners, wouldn't you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am, but we're very fortunate. We have several attorneys in our office that are coming from a diversity of different practice areas. So we've been fortunate to have Robin on the show. Talks a lot about employment law.
We've had to put up with Tom.
Tom Schrum. He's our resident patent intellectual property guy, and he does just a fantastic job.
And he keeps talking about that, and I think over and over again, so that maybe at some point I'll figure it out and learn it.
He's a fun guy to chat with.
He
really.
is.
I know last week you guys chat about merchandising and licensing in the NFL, which is an interesting hot topic.
It is.
He's out of town today. Actually, he left a little early to celebrate with family down in Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, because it's his day, Turkey Day.
That's right.
Yeah. So I just had to make that clear.
And I think today we're going to chat a little bit about non-compete agreements.
Yeah, and what do you mean by that? Explain what that is.
We see it a lot in our office, and me specifically. I do a lot of business litigation.
Okay.
And that involves a lot of employment agreements, whether that be memorandum of understandings, that be purchase and sale agreements, but a good old employment agreement, whether that be with you oftentimes see it in the professional services, whether it be accounting, whether it be insurance, stockbrokers, financial advisors, as well as landscaping companies, et cetera. And why? Usually because there's a sales component involved.
Yes.
And when there becomes a sales component involved, the employer generally has put forth quite a bit of resources to either train the
support
salesperson as well as overall marketing. So oftentimes in these employment agreements, they'll have specific paragraphs saying if you should leave your current employment for a period of, for instance, a reasonable time frame would be 3 to 5 years, that you cannot solicit businesses like the one you're currently
or
employed
take
with.
items that you've developed
That's right.
on behalf of the company.
So there really is a sense of fairness there.
Sure.
And oftentimes the first question that we're asked, either from the employee that's leaving or the employer, is, are these enforceable? Whether the contract's signed or not, are they actually enforceable? And in the state of Washington, they are.
Okay.
But there are some caveats there.
Okay.
Again, as I said a little bit ago, there's the 3 to 5 year term. You start getting out there in the 6, 7, 8 years, it really is
hard
not
to enforce.
It's not going to be enforceable because there's a balancing act with the courts as to the ability to protect the employer's resources for having spent the resources versus folks' right to work.
Well, that's right. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, if they leave a particular employment, whether it's a landscaping business or a financial advisor, if that is in fact what their trade is, we can't limit that too much. So balancing act, right?
Well, and a good example that I think most people can understand is if you're an anchor or a major reporter on a local station, you cannot work for a competitor in the Spokane market for 6 months.
And there's limited options.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not 100.
Right. Well, and then, but where do you go if you're going to leave station A and go to station B?
Right.
How long really is that fair?
That's right.
That you would have to wait a year and go without salary or whatever it may be.
And whether there be a time limitation, as you said, a year or 2 or 6 months, the geographic issue usually standard would be a 50 to 100 mile radius.
Right.
Okay. Well. To your point,
where's the local TV person going to go?
It's got to be Seattle and or
further, Boise or Portland.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think, Kent, you're really identifying the balancing act that a court needs to utilize in making a proper decision. And we've litigated several of these, which really flesh out the importance of the provisions in the contract. Number one, probably stating the obvious, but having a contract.
Okay.
If this isn't in writing, it isn't enforceable.
Doesn't exist.
Yes, oral contracts can be enforceable, but we've had issues where an employer
he said, she said,
trying to enforce it and say, look, I didn't want this person to compete. That's really not going to stand up. Interestingly, the world I come from, in terms of the legal industry, there are not non-competes. So whether a law firm, small, medium, large, et cetera, they are in fact spending the same resources that let me use an accountant as a comparison. Attorneys are probably spending the same type of marketing resources and
software, everything else, computers.
Yeah. In the accounting world, non-competes are definitely enforceable. and yet in the legal world, it's much like a physician, that you can't limit where a particular individual can seek.
I wonder who set that up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you have to wonder.
No, I don't really wonder. I can figure that one out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why whenever we get these contracts, they seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I blame the lawyers.
Yeah.
So, and yet the reality
you
is,
get paid by word.
Well, I think they used to historically.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what? The reality of why these contracts, take a mortgage, for example, why they become larger and larger and larger, they don't need to be. A one-page promissory note, here's the piece of real estate I owe money on, and I owe you, and I personally guarantee it. That literally is good enough for a court. The problem is then whether it's lead-based paint, whether it be this, whether it be that, and I'm not saying good or bad of those particular documents, but what I'm saying is each of those items over time has been litigated, one more page. Litigated, one more page.
Well, they're just protecting your rear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it depends on where you sit, I'm sure.
Where you sit?
Yeah.
Protecting your rear? That was purposeful, wasn't it?
I have an uncanny ability to, unfortunately, do that.
Yeah, okay.
Whether it makes sense or not. But I think as I said, the validity of these contracts for non-competes is where we get the calls.
Okay.
And oftentimes the way the contracts should read, or at least the contracts that we create, damages are actually hard to ascertain.
Yes.
Why?
I can imagine.
Let's say we're both employed in an accounting firm and we both decide to leave that firm. But obviously the employer spent a lot of resources on us. So we leave. Let's say we are forbidden essentially by the contract from contacting our entire list of clients.
Right.
What if we go contact them? Does that mean that the accounting firm actually lost the client? Not necessarily, but we certainly have breached that contract, at least by the
because ultimately it's up to the client out there to make a decision.
Right, and that's a good point, Kent, because oftentimes what we'll be asked is, well, what if the person comes to me?
Yes.
I didn't reach out to them.
Right.
That's kind of a form over function scenario, because if the person does reach out to you, the right thing to do per contract is, unfortunately, I can't work with you. I can certainly recommend somebody else or go back to the firm that I came from. But that is a question we're asked quite a bit. And unfortunately, again, depending on where you sit, if you're the employer, you are, of course, protecting your resources and the book of clients, if you will. On the other side, the employee, if they leave and they try to take those clients, if you will, because those damages are hard to prove, what you find in good non-compete agreements is what you call a liquidated damage clause.
Okay.
And because the damages are hard to say, well, I took that client. Well, I didn't take that. Well, they called me. No, I called them. Instead of that, what these contracts will say is if I am in breach of the contract, we are setting by our signatures right now 1.5 times commissions on those lost clients.
Okay. So you spell it out ahead of time.
Makes it easier for the courts.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
And probably almost go to arbitration at that point instead of courts.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's pretty well spelled out.
Mediate, arbitration, or court. But it really certainly is, when you talk business litigation, comes up all the time.
Now, should somebody out there want to get in touch with you to talk, how would they do that?
Well, McNiece-Wheeler.com. We got tricky on that one. Name McNiece-Wheeler, so we went with McNiece-Wheeler.com. However, interestingly, give a plug for Well Dressed Walrus, our design and web company that we work with. They said, Ryan, your name is too hard to spell. McNiece. Why? It breaks the rule, because my name is McNeice, and that breaks the rule. So they said, you need to get the domain name for McNiece-Wheeler spelled wrong.
Right.
And so I did that. Yeah. Because everybody spells it wrong.
Well, you've got several.
Yeah, we do have several domain names. But they can reach us at 928-4141, and they can call any of our attorneys. We cross over.
Quit hitting the table.
They cross over in a lot of different areas. Like I said, Allison does a lot of family law. Becky and I do a lot of business litigation, and Robin a lot of employment law. Tom a lot of patent.
Yeah, you've got a good crew.
We really
do.
Well,
and they're a fun crew.
We do,
because
have
I
fun.
give them a bad time when they come in and they're especially Tom, always
Yep.
willing to get back at me. So
Yeah.
that's important.
Well, we
'Cause
have a
wanna
lot
have
of
some fun here.
We do have fun. I think folks sometimes say, "Gosh, you guys look like you're having too much fun." But the truth of the matter is, the legal industry, like a lot of industries, it's stressful.
Yeah.
And so we do try to have fun when the opportunity is there.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
We're going to
me.
take a quick break, and we'll be back with Don Morgan talking about something around investments, I'm guessing.
Thanks for
That's
having
his
me, Ken.
job. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
For the Inland Northwest most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
Hi, this is Kent Adams, co-host of Business Talks. I'd like to introduce you to a couple of friends, Lisa and Alan Gwaltney of Window World. I've known Lisa and Alan for a number of years and know them to be honest and caring folks. They take pride in their windows, sliding doors, and blinds. So when it comes to your home, call them direct at 509-456-5880. That's Window World of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And if you tell them Kent sent me, they'll give you 5% off a 5-window installation. Call them today at 456-5880.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy, reducing carbon emissions by more than 18,000 tons. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams. It's 41 degrees outside, heading to about 45. And Don Morgan, you just came in from outside. Is it snowing yet?
No, and it's Thanksgiving week.
Okay.
I don't remember.
That's when we want snow.
I'm okay with the Christmas Eve snow.
Yeah. Oh, gee.
I really am.
Okay.
Every year I get a little older.
Bah humbug here.
No.
No.
Snow for Christmas, let the kids have fun, and then put it back in the mountains where it belongs.
Right. After, yeah. Scoop it up and take it back. Right.
That's right.
Spokane is a growing city, and there are a lot of things going on, but Don Morgan of Independent Wealth Connections, you just come with all kinds of potpourri of ideas today, don't you?
I did.
And what are we going to talk about?
Well, let's start with money.
Okay.
Saving,
you brought some for me?
No, saving your money.
Oh, okay.
And it's easy to do. Just don't spend it.
Yeah, right. With a wife, a son at home, and 8 grandkids. Right.
Oh, I understand. No,
Yeah.
And everyone has the same story.
Right. You know.
Everyone does.
We do.
So what I recommend for people who say, Don, I just can't seem to figure out how to save.
Right.
It's just like those of us who need to diet a little bit. You can't decide to lose 50
At least you
pounds.
pointed inward, not to me, because me is the obvious.
It's
Okay.
the obvious. I
Yeah.
left that. But you don't try and lose 50 pounds. You try and lose a pound at a time.
Right.
Sometimes a half a pound.
Right.
So start by small goals.
Okay.
If you have a company savings plan at work, a 401k plan, a 403b.
That's really good to do, isn't it? Because you're getting matching funds.
The match, at least get the match. It's 100% match in many cases. You put $1 in, you get an extra $1. There's nothing in the world you can invest in that doubles overnight.
No.
Except that employer
Well, nothing
match.
guaranteed, at least. I
Right.
mean, you might at
yeah.
Vegas or something like that.
Let's not use gambling in my segment. We don't do that.
Okay.
All right. The second thing is you get a raise. It may not be a big raise.
Right.
Save it. Or at least save half of it.
The raise part, the difference, right?
Right.
Okay.
So
if you make $100 or more a month, at least put $50 away, if not $100 away.
Yep. And until you max out your 401k plan, use that as your
Yes.
saving vehicles.
Right.
So let's say your match is 3%.
Okay.
You start out with 3%. Next year, go to 4%.
Okay.
And then the next year, go to 5%. Then
Okay.
just 1% a year.
Work your way up.
Yep. And you won't notice it. Look at your treats. How do you treat yourself?
Okay.
There's a really popular national coffee company that just raised their prices again.
Yeah, don't mention them.
I won't mention them, but you could go in and spend $5 on a cup of coffee.
yeah.
And if you do that every day.
And would you and I have thought 50 years ago we'd be spending $4 or $5 for a cup of coffee?
No, and I'd be right because I won't.
Well, because in those days
they were nickels.
Was it? Yeah, exactly. And a free refill.
Free refill.
And is it sugar or cream that you want?
And you had one kind of sugar, not 7 colors.
Well, that's true. Yes, isn't that the truth?
All right, so look at your treats and shift them.
Okay.
Instead of spending money on coffee, maybe you buy an espresso machine for work.
Yes.
All right?
Home.
Or home.
Right.
That way you make your own treat. Then finally start paying next year's bills this year.
Okay.
So set up a savings account and call that my new car.
Okay.
You make your car payment, make another payment to yourself.
Okay.
When you get done paying for your current car, you'll have your next car in the savings account.
Okay.
So that's just
I like that.
one piece of fun with cash.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing about that is you don't have to worry about the markets. It's your money.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Let's talk about...
So if an emergency comes up, you have something.
Yes.
Right.
And
although your purpose is to save it, but...
Stuff happens in life.
Didn't I read somewhere that about 70% of the country has less than $1,000 available to them for emergency?
It's shocking. It
Yeah.
really is. And part of that is because we've created such a system to take care of ourselves that we rely on that system.
Well, then we have plastic.
We have plastic. And there's the bank of dad.
Yeah.
You mentioned kids. I'm sure you've had that phone call.
Yeah. Yes, haven't we, Dad?
Yes, we have. Although, to my kids' credit, it is very infrequent.
Yeah.
Almost never.
Yeah.
Almost never. Not never, but almost never.
Right.
And when I was a kid, almost never.
Right.
One time from mom, one time from dad. It was so difficult to do, I never did it again.
Yeah. Yes.
So we went from cash to let's go to the end of life.
Okay.
The tax man doesn't care
Why did
that
you
you're
look right
dead.
at me when you said that?
He told me, look at the host.
Yeah.
This is
end of life.
Yeah, end of
Okay,
life.
thanks.
Well, we're closer than we were. We don't know how much closer.
Right.
But the tax man doesn't care that you're dead.
No.
But there are things that happen when you die to the stuff you own that relates to taxes.
Right.
So I did a real fast shift from savings. Remember where that savings was going into in large part was your 401k plan. This doesn't affect that, but if you own something that's not in a 401k plan, that's not in an IRA, that's not in an annuity, just you own your house, you own a stock, whatever you paid for it, when you sell it, normally you'd pay a tax on the gain.
Right.
When you die, they raise what you paid for it up to the value at death so that your heirs can sell it without paying tax.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
You look for good stuff, even in
But some
death.
want to take those things away. Or have one.
Oh, yeah, no, and I predict, my crystal ball, that we will see a lot of debate about taxes next year.
Right.
You see how bold I am?
No, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
And one of the things on the table is death.
Yes.
And I will get really bold on this and suggest that's probably not the first thing the administration pays attention to.
Right.
Because it'll be seen as self-interested.
Yeah. Well, and I think, honestly, simplifying it.
Yes.
Will be the first step. How to get there.
You
it
mean
may not
75,000 pages of code is too much?
Well, and is it only 75,000?
I've lost count.
Yeah. But the fact is, and so much of that has come in from that group that everybody wants their little piece.
Yeah.
And I think the election, one of the things that comes out of that is quit that. Too many people have their own hands in the pie. Let's make it fair. I mean, justice for all. Let's make it fair for everybody.
It's a laudable goal.
Yeah.
But
we know it won't be perfect.
But
I think we can take some steps that will improve it.
My dad had a saying that I loved, which is if you love the law or if you love sausage, don't watch either one of them being made.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is going to be a sausage feast in Washington, D.C. Yeah. But it will happen, I believe, next year. I think there's a lot of change that's coming.
I think you're right.
What that means for the average person is a lot of your plans have to be changed because the code changed.
Right. That's why they need someone like you.
IndependentWealthConnections.com.
Right. And
These
phone number is?
931-1088.
All right.
And by the way, these topics are on my website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you do a newsletter and everything else.
Yep.
So it's worth going to the website, if for no other reason, to sign up for those and to keep hearing from you. Because the one thing I have learned over the years is if you don't have the answer,
I'll
find
it.
somebody. Yeah,
You bet.
and that's what I really like about you, other than you're just a nice guy. But I mean, you do have those tentacles out to pull in the people who can help bring that all together. Because
Thank
none of us have all the answers.
Oh, no.
But to know where to go is important.
Yep.
It really is. Thank you, Don. Happy Thanksgiving
Happy
to you and
Thanksgiving.
your family. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We'll see you next week here on Spokane Talks Live.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic and to watch or hear this program again, go to SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Join us next Wednesday at noon for an hour of great conversation on Spokane Talks Live.
Hi, this is Kent Adams, co-host of Business Talks. I'd like to introduce you to a couple of friends, Lisa and Alan Gwaltney of Window World. I've known Lisa and Alan for a number of years and know them to be honest and caring folks. They take pride in their windows, sliding doors, and blinds. So when it comes to your home, call them direct at 509-456-5880. That's Window World of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And if you tell them Kent sent me, they'll give you 5% off a 5-window installation. Call them today at 456-5880.